Become debt-free in 2020 with Infinite Banking. Hi, I'm Sunny Mitra, founder of Bright Horizon Wealth. We teach entrepreneurs and go-getters like you how to own their financial future with the concept of Infinite Banking. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified every Tuesday and Thursday we come out with brand new videos. Stay tuned to the end of the video to get a valuable tool to get out of debt easily and effortlessly. So today's topic is become debt free with Infinite Banking in 2020. First of all, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's possible for you to get out of debt in the near future in your current situation? And the answer is absolutely yes. How do I know it for sure? Because I've seen it firsthand, because it is based on mathematics and not assumptions or forecasting, and overall because Infinite Banking gives you a guaranteed rate of return. In other words, you are not gambling with your money. So the question is, how do you get it? Here's how. Today I'm going to give you several things, step-by-step method to get rid of your debt, and some tools which will help you walk through those steps. Let's get started. We all know the saying, charity begins at home. Remember? Think for a moment. When you get your paycheck at the end of the week, what do? You rush to pay your creditors with your own money. Have you ever thought who is your first responsibility? It's you. Your first payment should go to yourself, whom you owe big time, because it's you who created all that money at the first place, right? Which is why I use the proverb, charity begins at home. So you need to create a system which is called pay yourself first. Now, it will do two things. Number one, it will satisfy your first and foremost duties that you owe it to yourself. And number two, it will put you on the track of saving money. The rule of the thumb is save 10% of what you make. But if you cannot do it right now, you can always start with 5% or even 1%. Yes, you heard me right. Start with 1% of savings. Put it on an autopilot, and number two, it will put you on the track of saving money. That every week when you get paid, 1% will go automatically into your designated savings account in the bank. Only with the leftover you start paying your bills. I know it is hard, and initially it would feel very uncomfortable. It also needs a ton of discipline. If you have the discipline and perseverance, kudos to you. In case you don't, there is a way that you can go around to it, and that is by focusing on changing your lifestyle with a tiny habit change. I came across this life-changing tool through a book named Tiny Habits, written by B.J. Fogg. And as I said, it will be hard in the beginning if you have never saved before. Let's compare it with our health. It is a little painful at first because when you are out of shape, it hurts to get back in the gym and it hurts to go on a diet. But the same thing goes with your finances. So when you are not used to saving and spending a certain way, it's a little painful at first, but the light is at the end of the tunnel. I promise you, once you see your savings or the disposable income start increasing, once you see that those numbers change and on a consistent basis it's going up, it really empowers you to do more and to be more responsible with your money, because it just allows you to do so much more with your current lifestyle. So we learned that charity begins at home. By applying this principle in our lives, we pay ourselves first, then to the creditors. The second principle that also you are familiar with is called a penny saved is a penny earned. And the whole concept of Infinite Banking stands on this premise: recapture and reinvest. Recapture all the interest that is going out of your portfolio every month and reinvest them in your own family bank. Now let's talk about the infinite banking system that will get you out of debt. The average American has over $8,000 in credit card debt, and as a society we are over $1 trillion in debt, and that debt makes up housing, student loan, credit card and auto debt, which are all the things that the banks tell us we need in order to further our lives. So now that you know what the banks don't want you to know about debt, they are capitalizing on your financial illiteracy. Now the question is how to get out of debt. I know people will put the argument there are so many different ways we can get out of debt, like getting help from our parents, receiving an inheritance, winning a lotto, but we all know that we have very little control over them. But there is one way that you can get out of the debt with mathematical accuracy, which is by replacing the banks. By creating your own banking system that you can build and grow, and one day you will get in a position to pay off your traditional mortgage by replacing it with your own family bank. But in order to do that, we'll have to start with baby steps, and as the time goes by, money will grow in your account. But here is one word of caution: you would not reduce your minimum payment, instead you will just redirect it. What you want to do is take over some of those debts and redirect those funds back to yourself. And the best part of it is you don't have any limitation. You can use your infinite banking for all kinds of financing, big or small. Possibilities are endless here. That's why they call it infinite. Infinite banking calls for a paradigm shift. If there is one thing we want you to take home from this video today, we want you to look at your debt from a different angle. Debt is not a bad thing. It all depends that who is at the receiving end. For the lender, it is a very good thing. For a bank, debt equals opportunity. Now, if I owe money to the bank, who wins the game? Obviously the bank, right? Of course, it also helps us because with that money, I bought a new car. So it's a win-win situation, right? And it creates opportunity for both parties. We bought the car with that money and the bank is getting their principal and interest. So it's a win-win situation. My question is, how do you like to put yourself on both ends? You will be a debtor and a creditor both at the same time. What I'm trying to do is double dip. I'm trying to do that all day long. Wouldn't you agree that it's about time that we start looking at debt from a different perspective? Think about all of the things that you may be currently financing right now, and then do the math to figure out how much opportunity is leaving your household. Here is an example. Say like you make $100,000 a year and you also spend that $100,000 a year. Now, if you could just save a tiny 10% of that money and invest in your own account, next year again you save another 10%, and along with all those interest, it will keep on growing. And pretty soon you'll start keeping more money on an annual basis as opposed to going away from you. What would that do for your financial lifestyle? What would that do for your family? If nothing else, I want you to look at it, how much money you are making in a year, how much interest you are paying to the bank. Don't be surprised if you find that you are paying the bank more money than you are saving for yourself and for your family. In fact, the average family pays anywhere between $280,000 to $450,000 just in interest over their lifetime to those banks. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do, to show you how you can keep the money that is your own without losing it to a bank year after year. And then by investing it just like a bank, you make the same returns that they do. And how do you do that? That is where the infinite banking comes into play. With the concept of infinite banking, you can use a whole life insurance policy to create your own banking system so that you can leverage the cash value inside that policy. Now you act both as a consumer and a creditor. Now you finance your own lifestyle without being dependent on the bank. Now you can recapture and reinvest that money into your own banking system, which will ultimately not only get you out of debt but also bring you financial freedom and a source of perpetual passive income. Sometimes people ask me, Sunny, I understand the concept of infinite banking and also believe that it will get me out of debt eventually. But my question is, how long will it take me to get out of debt? To answer that question, let me first ask you a question. How long did it take you to get in this debt, and how big is the amount, and how much is your monthly cash flow? So it depends on these three factors. Just like you did not incur all these debts overnight, it won't go away overnight either. In general, it works two ways. If you have access to a big pool of money, say like 10,000, 50,000 or 100,000, you can operate the infinite banking concept inside your whole life insurance policy by just turning around and within the next 30 days take out up to 60% of your money and pay off your debts. And second way to do it, if you don't have a big pool of money sitting around, you can just start a small account with maybe $200, $300 or $400 a month. It will take longer, but slow but steady wins the race. You will get there, I promise you. Second question people ask me is, when is the best time to start an infinite banking account? The answer is right now, because every minute that you wait is another minute that you miss to get back the interest you are paying to the bank. Watch out our next episode called Why Infinite Banking is Better. In this video, we are going to bring you some unique features and benefits that I promise nobody ever told you before like this. So that's about it for today. Now I have a question for you. What is the one thing you got from this video today? Please let us know in the comment section. It will help us improve our message. Thank you for watching our video today. If you want to learn more about it, check out our free on-demand masterclass which explain it in a more in-depth setting. Please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, spread the word around and subscribe. Once again, don't forget to check out our next video and don't forget to own your financial future or someone else will.